Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of Think Data with Dataman series. And this time we have Lakshmi with us, VP, Head of Analytics and AI at the First Abu Dhabi Bank, which is the largest bank in the UAE and commonly known as FAB across the Middle East. So thank you very much for joining with us, Lakshmi. We're very glad to have you.
Thanks, Shruti. Thanks for having me. It's an absolute pleasure talking on this topic, and I hope by end of our conversation, my inputs will help contribute towards the society of data science, and someone definitely has something to learn from it.
Definitely. So let's get started. You've had 18 plus years of experience in the banking industry with a very strong background of data alongside, to name a few in data analytics, business intelligence, and name it. So I'm sure the journey would have been phenomenal. Would you like to share with us a few words about your career path to the current role and what are your primary responsibilities?
Okay. So, data science, AI, analytics, was this my choice of career? Definitely not. This is not what I wanted to do as a child. Probably I wanted to be a teacher, or I always wanted to be in the area of entertainment, doing theater, drama, and all. But fine, we all have different parts of our life. And data science happened to me as my first internship while I was doing my engineering in computers and information technology way back in 2004. And that created a curiosity in me to pursue this more because uh, looking at a raw data which just sits in an Excel file and trying to understand what it is saying and presenting that to the business was my first internship, where I was like, okay, this data sitting in this file actually means so much. I mean, what is going on here really? And that's when I started concentrating more on data driven technologies. I did some programs in SQL. Oracle was very well known database technology back then, and so I took some certifications in Oracle and then happened to start my career with GE, where I was part of the business intelligence and data warehousing team, and then started to build data warehouses. I was an ETL developer back then. Now, OWB and Informatica data stage were the tools that I was working in. So this domain and this experience happened to me by the way I started my career and the projects and initiatives that I started working on, which kept me very, very passionate and enthusiastic. And that passion drove me in staying in this domain for about 18 years now. And banking, because, yeah, whole of my family is bankers. Somebody is a CA, somebody works in a bank and all. It just happened, not that my entire family is in banking. Most of the initiatives that I started working were in banking. And so it happened. I've worked with Equifax in USA. I worked in American Express in Bahrain, then in Fab here and few other banks. So I relate very closely to banking industry because my education happens to be financials as well. I am a diploma holder in banking, along with my dual masters that I have in stats and data science. So continuous learning and continuous growth in the domain kept me here. And it's more to do with my interest and passion rather than anything else. Because I always had this in my mind: the day I don't feel like going back to the next day, which means I'm not doing what I love, and I would stop. So far, God grace, that day hasn't come. My enthusiasm and passion in the domain is still there, so I think I am on the right track. And I do theaters in my part time now, so it's okay.
No,
I have best of both worlds.
that's definitely interesting. So, Fab being the largest bank in the UAE, I'm very curious to know how does the data team look like and how is it structured at Fab?
Okay, so data team in Fab is a pretty big practice because in my current roles and responsibilities, I manage data management, data visualizations,
Mhm.
advanced analytics, and AI. Okay, this is
Okay,
my high level portfolio of my responsibilities. The team
okay.
is big because we are a large bank, as you said in your intro.
Hmm.
We are a bank which was a combination of two big banks before. So yes, when we inherited the banks, we inherited the systems as well. Yeah, because we
Okay.
have multiple systems and all. We do have large teams in terms of managing the data.
Hmm.
It's roughly a team of about 120 to 150 people put together for the field of data analytics and AI.
Mm-hmm.
We have come here from a lot of hard work over last 3 years, I must say. When we started, we were just a team size of four.
Oh,
Yeah. And then we had a data management team of about 12 people. Yeah.
okay.
Put together a 16 people team,
Mm-hmm.
and managers and all, including 20 people practice.
Okay.
Then we changed our model to buy versus build. Okay, we took
Mm-hmm.
time to grow, get knowledge, build maturity, and then today, largely about 90% of the work that we do in the domain of data analytics AI is in house. And we are very
Oh,
proud of that because the kind of maturity we have obtained, I think, in the
mhm.
region, in this domain is very, very unique. And our achievements talk about that. And I'm very proud that my team has come this long. And they're very skilled. I'm so proud of each individual that works in my team.
Mm-hmm.
So, talking a little bit about the skills of the team members that I have in this area, we
Mm-hmm.
have very varied mix of the skills because I don't believe in having somebody who is very good in doing ETL and not have a BA, or then having somebody who's very good in R and thinking that is everything it's required. I don't think that works. So our team is a proper mix of people who understands databases, database administrators, people of cross-domain expertise, and things like that. So yeah, that's about my team.
That's pretty inspiring to hear the journey that you and your team have come to this stage.
Thank you.
So there are many possible challenges, especially in the banking industry, when it comes to handling data, and you, of course, would have to come across a lot of real-time data. So it can be in regards with data security or data growth issues. What are some of the key challenges that you and your team have to face on a daily basis when it comes to specifically handling data?
Okay. See, as I told you, right, I have worked in managing data engagements in most of the Fortune 500 companies. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen any change to the challenges that we were talking back then to now, except
Mm-hmm.
for availability of infrastructure, availability of technologies to do things. But the
Okay.
basic fundamental problems and challenges that the business users would fuse back then to now are
Mm-hmm.
more or less the same. I'll give you an example. Reliability on the numbers that you present. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still stays a question mark because I don't think there is a trust in the data that you would present, that your
Okay.
business users will buy in immediately saying, okay, I agree with this number. That never happens. That never used to happen. That never used to happen. It never happens now because the fundamental problems of your data quality, data governance, availability of the data, and how your systems are integrated. Okay, my golden source of truth lies in system X, but you are taking data from Y. All
Mm-hmm.
these basic problems still are the more or less the same. What has changed is availability of technologies, the
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure that you can start storing a lot of volumes of data, which was not the case before. And
Mm-hmm.
the maturity of business users in trying to understand the technology is also grown. Back then, business users were always agnostic to technology. Okay, guys, please keep me away from this. They don't want to hear anything to do with technology back then. But now it's different. They are more knowledgeable in terms of trying to understand what's happening out there in technology compared to us. I have instances where my business users tells me of a technology that I'm still not aware of. It
Mm-hmm.
happens. They quickly send me saying, Shri, look, we read about this. Are you aware of this technology? So that curiosity of there is also bringing a certain level of challenges for us that, when we talk about problems, they think, okay, this is not a problem. There is already always a solution. Why don't we apply this solution to this and get rid of this problem? But what we need to more focus is on the fundamental problems. So the answers to your question is what the challenges we face are the same basic problems. The
Mm-hmm.
reliability of the data needs to be achieved. I'm glad that today we have been able to achieve that. From zero, probably we started way back then to a level of maturity right now. But the
Mm-hmm.
fundamental problem of your data governance, data quality still stays the same because I think right now the industry is becoming serious about these domains. Rather, previously they thought that it is just a back office. Data governance quality doesn't have a role to play. or
I,
they're not contributors. I think that's mentality towards the domain is changing right now. And
Mhm,
I am a huge advocate of people working in data quality, data governance, because it's a very difficult job, but very under appreciated or under recognized team. Unless and until
mhm,
you put data quality, data governance on the front foot of your organization, I don't think you will be able to achieve your data strategies, data ambitions. At the end of the day, data analytics and AI or data management is sitting on your basic core level of your data quality and data governance. Yeah. So the
yeah,
problems are the same, the basic
mhm,
problems of we trying to understand why we believe in our numbers versus why business doesn't believe their numbers.
mhm,
Availability of the data. If you have a data warehouse where your data is probably running in a batch mode versus some sophisticated technologies, where your data is available in the real time. Yeah.
yeah,
So that availability and how fresh is your data is
mhm,
another challenge. Reliability of the data, having multiple source systems and trying to
mhm,
identify which data lies where is another challenge. Integration of the data from multiple systems is another challenge. In then trying to translate your data language into a language that business users understands, to be able to effectively communicate why are we facing these challenges of data and why we cannot be achieving what they want to achieve, because it's not the skills, but it is the underlying system challenges. So these are
yeah.
the typical challenges, more or less the same.
Definitely. So that really makes sense. And talking about the reliability of data, does your company rely on third-party APIs? Because we know that the data they serve might be in completely unexpected state, and you have to make sure that it doesn't break your applications and processes. So, is there any particular tool that you use for data monitoring or cleanup in advance?
Yeah, we do. Without naming the technologies, yes, definitely we use very advanced and the leaders in the market for the data quality, data governance tools and data
Mhm.
monitoring as well. We are also experimenting with another few with small POCs to understand the difference, which we do
Okay.
because we constantly do in-house R&D on multiple tools
Mhm.
ourselves,
Okay.
because we want to keep updating ourselves and our domains of data with the latest technologies out there, which may help us improve our quality, governance, availability, monitoring, or privacies in any which ways, and security of the data in that way.
Mhm.
So, answer to your question is, the monitoring of the data by using these technologies is very much that we do, and it is required because our team is the custodian of having the data availability across the organization, and at the
Mhm.
end, at the same time, ensuring its privacy and security.
Okay.
So we do that largely.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Okay, third
So I
party
would like to.
API. Sorry, I missed the first bit of the question. Yeah, we do
No
use
problem.
third party data and APIs,
Mhm.
but we need to fundamentally understand one difference here.
Mhm.
Because somebody else is using third party data or an API, our ambition should not be to embark on it. I
Yeah.
I strongly say this to everybody. Your organization's maturity in data analytics, AI for that matter, even in simply doing a reporting, should be driven by your organization's needs. Okay. Though you can learn from the challenges and the journey somebody else took, your technology stack cannot be same as other technology stack. It may be same, but you need to emphasize on your unique problems, your unique requirements, your
Yeah.
goals and your vision of where you want to get to, and then having embark on doing things. Okay, somebody has a big data, let's do big data. Oh, somebody has a cloud, let's do cloud. Somebody has an API, let's do it. It shouldn't be like that. I think many of the leaders are falling for this in trying to have the latest out of it and doesn't know how to use it. But rather, it is okay to use basic technologies. It's okay to have the same traditional things done, unless and until you are addressing your basic problems of your data reliability and trust in the data that you are presenting to your business. You will not be
Mhm.
able to succeed, no matter what you're trying to build on top of it. Is when your base is weak, You can't keep building on top because it will collapse at one time or the other. It's
Yeah,
like that Lego house. You need to ensure you have a good foundation to have your model built on top of it. So
that's that's that.
we do use
Yeah.
the data, but our data usage on external data and APIs is completely driven by the use cases. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that there's a very good data, let's get it in and then figure out
Mm-hmm.
how to use. No, we
Okay.
don't. We do it the other way around. We look at the
Okay.
data, we look at the availability, we look at what the APIs are offering. We see if there is a use case which fits into us, if it is a suited value for business and improves us either in revenue impact, customer experience impact, tries to help the customer journeys easier, then we embark on having it and not just because somebody is offering it.
Yeah, that's definitely
That
something
value
that I will.
proposition needs to be done for everything that you want to bring in,
Okay.
without just having to bring it because it sounds fancy.
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely a point to agree on. And shifting the topic to a little different direction
Uh-huh.
has become a hot topic in the recent times in the data space, especially. So it's about data culture. So do you think that data culture is something that plays a very crucial role in a data-driven organization? And do you see this at Fab?
Okay, see, we always used to talk about only work culture, right? How
Yeah.
good is your work culture, uh, inclusion, what is your workforce in female, male, nationalities, blah, 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 and all that. Now we
Yeah.
are also talking about data culture. As your work culture is important to
Mm-hmm.
help you grow as an organization because that will motivate and keep people with you of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. Data culture is required for your strategies to become something tangible.
Okay.
So that's how I would compare that with. There,
Okay.
if one is trying to focus on the people aspect, because people are the core fundamental for any organization's development, then your data culture is also equally fundamental for your strategies to become something tangible coming out
Mm-hmm.
of the presentations. So far
Yeah.
the strategies is only good in the books or good in the documents, good in the presentations, but a data driven culture can actually make it tangible and
Mm.
have transform your organizations which are purely dependent on smart data decisions. So it's
Okay.
very critical. And yes, at Fab, there is a lot of emphasis in doing things which are data driven with a
Okay.
combination of expertise of the people involved in managing legacy historically challenges with
Mm-hmm.
business and have a cum of knowledge with regards to business. A good combination of these two is what we emphasize on. And yes, we are very much focused on our data culture and we are taking right steps towards it.
Okay. That's great. So having talked about data culture, how do you see the communication between the data teams and the other business units at Fab?
Okay, so I would say it's very good right now
Mm-hmm.
because again we took a journey. It was not as simple as it was before, but did we achieve it overnight? No, it
Okay.
took time, and what helped us get here is a good plan, a good tangible plan,
Mm-hmm.
not a strategy that talks about let's achieve everything in a day or in few weeks, 16 days, 17 weeks, 13 weeks. No, we are quite realistic people. Our journey took good
Yeah.
amount of 3.5 years and we had very tangible deliveries year after year, quarter after quarter. We kept measuring our growth and progress, and then we are here today, able to have a better communication with the business. As I said, one of the reasons is the business knowledge, not
Okay.
of my team, but the business users themselves. They have now become very smarter. They understand the availability of the technology.
Mm-hmm.
They understand how the market is changing. Sometimes when we are talking about our modeling, they will ask us, "Are you using a logistic regression?" It's not that they know how it's done
Yeah.
because they have read about. See, this domain has become a lot of everybody's interest, not from only pursuing a career, but also an interest of trying to know the knowledge. I
Okay.
think probably 60% of my business users, in a way or the other, would have done some kind of a learning or a self learning in this domain.
Okay.
So I think that is a very good thing that has happened, that people started to explore a lot in this domain, that has increased their knowledge. So they better this time. Two things have happened. One is when we try to explain them a challenge, they are in a better position to understand the challenge. And when
Mm-hmm.
when somebody is trying to act smart and take them for a ride, they know that this is not the right and this challenges, which is very good. So it's a win-win situation. The communication with the business teams have really improved a lot, because I have focused not only in having technical expertise in my team, but also the functional expertise. So I
Mm-hmm.
have data experts in my team who understand functionally how does a corporate business run, how does a consumer banking run, what are the risk regulations, everything. So I have a combination of a business SME who understands the business and
Mm-hmm.
technical people, which are bifurcated for each of the business users. So when
Mm-hmm.
we have a corporate use case, I know who are the guys to work on it, because when you're talking about a corporate use case, you need to understand a basics of what is an FX, LCs, LGs, things like that. Then
Yeah.
you will be able to better articulate your thoughts and come up with a good solution for a business case. So I have done that. This is a learning that I had and I incorporated in my team, and which is absolutely working very beautiful. Otherwise, the business users used to complain saying, Shri, your data scientists are very good, but they don't understand what I'm talking. I
Yeah.
have to explain to them what is an LC and an LG, which, I don't mind, but it is time consuming. And so I took a lot of feedback from the business users and incorporated that mix of the functional expertise and technical expertise in my team. I think that is
Mm-hmm.
also one of the things that I did is helping us progress a lot, and I've seen a very good success from this change that I've done in my team.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So, as a head of analytics and AI, talking about the technical stuff, do you believe that data observability or data awareness is something that plays a crucial role in the banking industry, or also maybe as a whole in the fintech industry?
See, there is no getting away from this. It is
Mm-hmm.
important. It needs to be there. You like it or you don't like it. If you want to grow as an organization,
Mm-hmm.
having your data strategies in place and having your data taken care, and if you want to monetize from the data, there is no getting away from data quality, data governance, data observability.
Okay.
Because when you walk into any board meetings for the big management guys, they wouldn't probably say, you tick on the three factors of data quality, but the reliability is this person. Can you come back to me? They just say, do they agree
Yeah.
with the number or they don't agree with the number, right? uh,
Yeah.
so so if we have to be, I think each one of us sometime or the other would have faced a situation where you go with a weeks of preparation preparing to present a revenue number, and then in the
Mhm.
few minutes of the meeting starts and the leaders say, I don't believe this number. Then you say, you're not confident to say, no, no, this
Yeah.
is the right number. You would probably say, okay, let me check and come back. Why do you have to say that? If you
Yeah.
have spent weeks of your times and months of your time preparing for that number, what is that stopping you to confirm there right there moment and say, no, look, we believe in this number, this is the right number. And
Yeah.
the day when we are able to do that with a lot of confidence is when we must say that, look, you have progress and this is a tangible result of you managing your data platforms, that you are able to say, I am confidently able to present this number. And
Okay.
when your business users start believing in the numbers that you are presenting without having you to go back and check and come back, unless and until there is a glaring mistake somebody has committed in calculating the numbers, I think that is one of the factors for your success. Right? So data
Yeah.
observability is very, very important. You need to start doing it one time or the other, where you are not doing everything of data quality, data governance. It's, I think, step zero in trying to
Mm-hmm.
see how are your systems integrated, how most recently updated your data is, what is the form
Yeah.
in which your data is being stored, are these the right ways in which you are calculating the numbers, are you have taken the data from the right systems to do it. How are you doing, how will you do it is something for the data quality and governance to figure it out. But observability is even as level zero, I would say, where you do all
Mhm.
that basic questions answered in terms of what data, why it is, where it is, and how it is, you know
Okay.
and,
Definitely.
with a lot of fintechs coming into this domain and having tools to do this, I think a lot of opportunity needs to be given to them, at least to explore of what they have to offer.
Okay, okay. That's great. So when it comes to implementing the so-called data observability concept, we saw that many enterprises prefer to develop something internally rather than using the existing out-of-box solution. So what is your take on that?
Okay, see, this is not only for this topic, but for anything to do. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you always compare whether should I do it in house versus should I do it, should I buy a existing tool.
Okay.
See, what I believe in. Let's take voice biometrics. Okay,
Okay.
um, I can build it in house. As I said, I
Mm-hmm.
have a large team. But would I actually spend the effort of all my team buying a ready-made solution out there, which is very matured and being used by a large community, or do I want to build it from scratch? I
Yeah.
would rather buy it because it's a
Yeah.
technology which is very sophisticated, largely used, has a credibility in the market, and rather I spend that efforts of my team doing something else which is not available. Yeah? That is
Exactly.
my fundamental core of when I make decisions of should I
Yeah.
do it in house versus should I go. Building a use case. Okay, let's say we are doing a prediction of who will buy what. No, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to buy. There are a lot of solutions out there, but my team will churn out this use case in 6 to 8 weeks. I rather prefer doing this in house versus asking a vendor to come or buying a technology, right?
Yeah.
So that is completely driven by the use case itself and the
Mm-hmm.
maturity of an organization and what their priorities are. If I have a good budgets to experiment and do R&D on the tools, I
Mm-hmm.
rather give an opportunity to one of the tools, bring it in, do a small POC, look at the results, very good, it's cost effective, will save a
Yeah.
lot of time and bring in good value. I rather go ahead and buy the tool instead of doing
Yeah.
it in house.
Definitely. So, okay, moving to the next topic where we talk about the security standards and compliance. I also assume that you pay special attention to security standards and compliance when it comes to the banking industry. So, what are some of the most important points to pay attention to while experimenting with new technologies and products that you bring on board?
See, in banking industry, comparatively to other industry, your regulations, compliance, and all are very challenging because you're dealing with sensitive data here,
Yeah.
right? You're talking about some financials, everything which is far more probably more has a little more sensitivity over comparatively to others. So,
Yeah.
what would you concentrate more is not a choice for us to make because if
Mm-hmm.
there are 10 things to be compliant to, you wouldn't probably say, okay, I will do this seven and I'll not do the next three. Yeah,
Okay.
doesn't work like that. Every regulation out there, every aspect of data privacy, data secrecy needs to be considered. There is no getting away with it because the few organizations across the globe have been fined for not being compliant with compliance and regulations, and you don't
Yeah.
want to be one of them. So it's better to be very, very sure of what you're trying to do and why you are doing it, rather than just do it and get into trouble. Yeah.
Right.
So I would say there is a lack of understanding in
Mhm.
terms of overlapping regulations and compliance and not exploring the full potentials of data analytics and AI. Okay,
Okay.
I'll give you an example. People talk
Mhm.
about clouds these days,
Yeah.
okay, and they say, okay, if banking clouding is not the solution because you can't put data, customers' data in the cloud. But yes, right, you cannot put the customer's data in the cloud, but you can anonymize the data. You can
Mhm.
remove all the PII data from the data and use the anonymized data, which just has non-sensitive fields out there in the cloud, and then churn out the use cases from that. At the same time, ensuring that you are
Mhm.
compliant by the regulation and compliance. And how can you do that? By having a good partnership with your internal regulators and compliance teams, running past through the use case with them, having to take
Mhm.
your feedback from them and ensure that you are secured in terms of your regulations and compliance, and at the same time bring out the
Mhm.
value of data and analytics. The
Yeah.
limitation in one or the challenges in regulations and compliance should not stop you from trying to bring the value out of data analytics and AI. And this can happen if you have a good partnership with your internal teams, run past your use cases, take their advices, incorporate the feedback and changes that you do, and bring in the value. And that's what we have done in few of our use cases. At least where we're trying to explore the potential of the platform, that we did partner with our internal teams and did few exploration of the use cases.
Okay.
So
That's
this is a very sensitive topic,
yeah.
and I don't think anybody can get away from ignoring them. Especially in our industry, we can't be affording to do that because it impacts our organization at large.
True, true. Thank you for giving a light on that. So, in your opinion, how does the future of modern data stacks look like? Do you think that there will be a big, massive change soon?
Haven't you already seen a massive change? I
Yeah,
mean,
true, true.
right?
It's a
To
big
where
jump.
we were not, I would say, years back or a decade back, how we were we last year versus this year. Okay,
Yeah,
let's keep our window of comparison only year on year, and you see
yeah,
so much has changed. Okay,
yeah,
so much has changed even in the technology adoption to do with the clouds. Okay,
yeah,
and in third-party data monetizations and procuring data to use in your internal analytics. So much has changed in the simple domain of reporting itself. Yeah, many reporting tools previously used to stick to only charts and bar graphs. Now they're talking about embedded AI, embedded forecasting models, embedded
yeah,
prediction models. This is all because this is changing a lot. And is there a point of saturation for this maturity? Probably
yeah,
no, because your problems keeps changing, your solution
yeah.
keeps changing, fresh people will come in, management would change, the thought process change, ambitions change. So hence, this is an ongoing cycle of changes.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think what would help all this revolution is paying more attention to your fundamental problems of disseminated systems, people working in silos,
Yeah,
building trust in the data, having your teams properly skilled enough to do these activities. While you're talking about revolutionizing everything 40%, I think 60% of the focus should still be given internally to solve your
mhm,
basic problems, get your basics right, have your basic fundamental problem solved, uh, put data governance, data quality on the front foot of your organization. They need to be driving your data management along with your data management teams together.
mhm.
Is when I think this revolution will be more meaningful rather than
Yeah,
be only talking about technology changes, but your
yeah,
underlying problems are the same. It doesn't really make sense. So, what
yeah.
would the future technology stack, according to me, look like? I think sophistication is not what would go a long way.
Mhm,
Simplicity,
mhm.
uncomplicated things, and explainable things,
Yeah,
which people can relate to and understand easily, is what
yeah,
is the future should look like.
yeah.
So I think
Definitely.
the hindrance for adoptions
Mhm.
is when people do not understand, is when
Yeah,
they shy away from using it. Okay,
yeah,
the fear in adoption comes from a lack of understanding. So when
yeah.
you create that awareness of what you have done, how you have done, is where the adoptions increases. And taking people along in your journey is very, very important. I mean, I think I'll take this as an opportunity to say this.
Mhm.
Technology teams cannot have anything delivered on their own. Business
Okay.
teams cannot deliver anything on their own. It should be a mutual collaboration between both the teams, coming together with your other internal teams together and trying to deliver, because it's not an individual contribution, it's a team effort
Mhm.
at the end of the day. So along with the work culture and data culture, there is a change in the thinking culture that also
Yeah,
people need to get to a stage
yeah,
where this will be far more successful. Because if people fear of losing out their power in what they are doing today, if they
yeah,
transform the technology, that fear of losing control, losing what they're trying to do, is another reason where people are not adopting these technologies together, because somebody who is doing this from 10 years don't want to change right now only because
yeah,
they think the things will change and probably they may not fit into the frame,
yeah, yeah,
right? So having them explain what is the advantage of doing it and repurposing your staff who was doing traditional things into trying to do something new, upskilling them in trying to do the new way of work would also help adoptions, which I think we should also focus along
yeah.
building a data culture, work culture, so many other things, because the change in this thinking process would help progress much better and a faster pace.
Makes sense. And I also agree on that because upskilling and updating in the current industry is very, very vital for anyone who gets into this field. So finally, what piece of advice do you have for the budding generation who are entering the field of data science from that perspective?
Okay, so I think I give a very standard answer to this question. Doesn't matter where it is being asked. My sincere advice is, guys, get your basics right. Okay, get your fundamentals right in terms of trying to understand what data is. Data science is all about data. Okay, doesn't matter whether you're using that data to do a simple BI reporting, whether you're trying to build a small model, or whether trying to do a sophisticated AI ML algorithms on that, or whatever you're trying to do with the data. If you do not understand what that data is, you will not be able to make better solutions. So I want everybody who is willing to come into this domain to not try to be a best coder, but try to
Mhm.
be a good solution provider. What do I
Okay.
mean? What is the difference? You should be able to understand the data, then you will be
Mhm.
able to code better solutions. That's what I'm
Okay.
trying to say. You know, if you do not understand the data set that you are trying to build in, how would
Mhm.
you even understand what is the right model that you're building? I'll give you an example. Let's say if you're trying to build a survival model, okay,
Mhm.
in the healthcare domain, you would
Okay.
not know what age of survival is good for a female versus a male depending on a particular disease. Okay, if you do not understand that, how would you know what accuracy level of your model is right? You
Mm.
know, is 60% right or 70% right? You will not be able to finalize your model if you do not understand the basic nuances of the data. Now, for that,
Mm.
am I expecting this data scientist to get a medical degree? No.
Mm.
Asking better questions on the data set that is being given to you to understand what is good for this data set versus what is good for another data set. Let's take the same
Mm.
example in the banking industry. I'm asking you to build for me a predictive model to understand what I can sell next to a customer who have joined the bank in last 24 months. Okay.
Okay.
Now for here, you need to understand your eligibility criteria. Okay. Unless and until you understand that inclusion exclusion criteria of okay, who can be sold what, okay, who is on do not disturb alert that you're not supposed to send them campaigns. If you do not understand the nuances, then how would you know what is a sample set for your data? Who should you be including in your model itself to build that model without
Mhm.
you understanding these basics nuances? So
Okay.
having basic knowledge of the data is very much required when you have embarked your career. So ask more questions during your internship or in the early stages to learn more about the data, and
Mhm.
that will help you go a longer way. And when you are just starting the career in this domain, understand data basics of data, like what are primary keys, what is a left join, what is a right join, you know, very basic things. Because I am surprised in interviewing few guys who have very good degrees in terms of data sciences. Ours Pythons have so many certifications, but when I ask them some basic questions on what is a composite key versus a primary key, how would you handle these two data sets, people fail to answer their questions. And it's very disappointing that you focus so much on having degrees and coding it right, but you did not focus on your basics. So that's my piece of advice in for the generation, that please do focus on the basics and get
Mhm.
your data aspects right.
That's definitely true, and I think thank you for giving this answer. So, as a leader who's managing large practices, what are the common challenges that you're facing in the industry?
Okay, challenges are many, but what you are doing towards them is what makes one leader different from the other one. Okay, now our challenges are multidimensional. One is the growing technology and emphasis on trying to use everything is one of the challenge, because at times we have a large difficulty in trying to explain people that, you know, yes, it is a good technology, but we don't need it. You know, you have something already doing this thing. You know, this focus on trying to use something which is very popular in the market, though it doesn't fit into your frame of technology or a use case, is a challenge that we face every day in and out, probably to try explain, okay, we don't need this, you know, our capabilities are enough. So that's one challenge. Second one is business communication with business users. Though we have made a lot of progress in terms of the changing in operating models, where we have incorporated a lot of functional expertise in our team, where we have seen progress and good results. I think that that's one challenge every leader face in data science area, having your team understand business and having business understand your technology. So this is one thing that will stay ever, but you should always take feedback and start trying to improvise. Third challenge is trying to retain your teams, trying to grow your teams, trying to upscale your teams, because an average lifetime of any data science expert in a team who is actually a coder or a developer is, I don't think, more than 2.5 years. So how do you as a leader continue to manage that resource bandwidth so that you're not short of resources in trying to meet the internal demand of delivering initiatives? So I think right now every leader in this domain is facing an attrition problem because of how the industry has changed post COVID. Everybody understood during the COVID period that data, digitalization, analytics, AI is the way to go. Now that has brought in a lot of demand for the people in this domain, and I'm very happy for the community of the data science experts that they are now able to make good living, and their skills are getting paid very well, which was not the case before. But how is this impacting us as leaders? Is yes, we have a huge churn rate in our teams to manage attrition, people leaving, but I think this is common. Instead of trying to stop somebody or trying to retain somebody, we should always be looking at, okay, are they moving into something which of their interest? As leaders, you need to be a mentor more in that situation than being a manager, trying to understand and give a good, better advice to your team, saying, you're going through something very good. I'm very happy. All the best for you, rather than trying to give them everything possible and trying to make them stay. It depends upon the manager and the individual that you're talking about. And at times I feel very happy that my teams are going to embark on roles which are far more than what they are doing, which just shows me how much have they grown being part of my team over a few years. And I take that as a pride, that my team is going out and trying to take bigger challenges, which just says that yes, I have contributed towards their growth. At the same time, how do I bridge this gap is by having internal trainings done so that we bring in internal talent, repurpose people from other roles and responsibilities. And the big thing that I'm doing is focusing on internships. I am bringing in fresh knowledge from the market for the people who are looking for opportunities and having their contributions done, upskilling them and trying to make them work with few mentors in the team and bridging that gap. And of course, looking for talent out there in the market who are coming out fresh into the market by doing some masters, courses and things like that, giving them opportunities and trying to bridge that gap. So my advice to the leadership team in this domain of data analytics and AI is please focus on your internal skill sets as well. Your internal mind of people who are sitting out there in your back offices, front offices, people who are doing the historical way of doing BI analytics and all. Upskill them, please, and have them included in your data science, data management teams. Give them an opportunity. I'm sure they will be far more happier than you giving an opportunity to an external person because they already hold that mine of knowledge in terms of how your organization has evolved, and they will be able to add a lot of value. At the same time, please don't shun away freshers and interns. They bring in a lot of fresh ideas, fresh thought processes. Experience is not required in every field. So even in the domain of data science, there are activities that freshers can do by hand holding. And trust me, this generation of experts, fresh grads are very, very smarter, way smarter than the freshers were out there years back. So, and they're very hardworking and dedicated. So please give them an opportunity, and have your technology selections, please, driven by your internal requirements of your organization and challenges, rather than just trying to be following what is popular out there in the market. These are my few challenges and advices to the leadership forum.
I think of all the answers that you gave, this is one of my favorite. So thank you very much, Lakshmi. I think, like you said, leaders play a very, very vital role in any organization that you pick. Their vision, their collaboration, everything makes a lot of difference. So that's definitely a great answer. Most of it's done. Thank you very much. Shri Lakshmi, for taking time and joining with me today. It was really, really great having you. And yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Shruti. Thanks for taking time to talk to me. I hope I was able to contribute towards this data science society, as I said. And I look forward to seeing you again in case there are any other opportunities where I can help contribute.